Welcome back, cadets. Today we're diving into the high-stakes psychological drama of Starfleet Academy episode Cozy. After the trauma of the Miyazaki, Genesis is up for the prestigious pre-command track. But is she leading or just following her Admiral father's footsteps? From illicit bridge hacking to a shocking sealing ceremony on a matrimonial moon, we're breaking down the lies, the legacy, and the imposter syndrome threatening to destroy these future officers. Is Genesis a hero or a wildly flawed liability? Let's get into it. Hell yeah, today's title.
So cosine, it sounds like cousin, it sounds like cosine. But cosine refers to what we would say is a best man or a maid of honor. And so this is the person charged with the responsibility of speaking highly of the particular person, taking their matrimonial vows, if you will. In this case, Darum Ramey.
Okay. All right. So in this particular episode, Genesis expresses a deep fear that her victories aren't earned, but rather handed to her because people recognize those footsteps of her Admiral father. What are your thoughts about that?
You know, I want Genesis to get over herself. I really, 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 really do. But I understand. I think that's fair. It's kind of that legacy thing, or people don't respect you as much because, like she mentioned, you're in the footsteps of, your father or your mother, whoever it may be. And so because we respect your father, we just assume that you're going to be great, or you're riding on the coattails of, the person, this person, this case being your father, having done all the work that I don't really have to work as hard. I'm just, again, basically what we will call nepotism, in essence.
Okay, all right. Does her decision to hack the bridge stem from a need to prove she can outsmart the system, or is it a subconscious act of self-sabotage to escape her father's shadow?
I think it may have been a little bit of both, self-sabotage and a little bit of arrogance, because you use trickery. You not only put yourself at risk, but also your friend. At this point, I can't even say your classmate because y'all are friends. And I feel like there's a little bit of underlying sexual tension between the two of them as well. I'm always gonna be looking for those things, and the little Betazoid chick picked up on that tip.
Okay.
But I mean, hey, look at Mir. I understand. So I think it was a little bit of self-sabotage and a little bit of arrogance, thinking that you can outsmart the system.
I'm glad you said both. Even when I came up with this question, I was just like, I don't know what the answer is. And I'm glad that you were, wise enough to say it's probably both, because I think I'm right there with you. She, because of her training with her father, she knew how to hack the ship, right? So she felt comfortable with doing it, and the unmitigated gall of her to do that, you know what I'm saying? And then, hey, who says? I mean, and you know what? At the end, the chancellor expressed something to her. Yeah, of course they told us, what your shortcomings were. It's our job to fix that. You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole point. And I was a little bit proud of Mir for him to say, hey, you want to do what? People get court-martialed for that. And he's a guy that we see kind of like as like Aladdin, like the street rat, kind of just all over the place trying to figure it out. But for him in that moment to be like, hey, this might be too far, speaks to his character development. Because, I mean, even though he ultimately did it, he did take a step back and question whether or not this was the best move to make.
Right.
As opposed to just diving in and just doing silly stuff.
Right. Which is what he would have done at the beginning of the show. So there is some growth, to your point. Yeah.
But the growth. Hey. Yes, indeed. We love to see the growth.
Look at that. I can't see that. Can you see my? I need my glasses. My glasses are right here.
Hey, I love you guys. I watch all your vids. Thank you. That's like Razor Gang. Hey, thank you.
Okay, all right. So you get our humor. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's a little bit of debauchery, just mixed with a little bit of wisdom, and But thank you. We appreciate it.
So Darren was promised a childhood marriage,
Mm.
but hid it from his peers and partners. Um, First of all, what are your thoughts about that?
I think that's right on brand. I think that is right on brand, and I think that's right on brand of going away. Are we dating each other? Ew, no, that's my brother. Um, um,
From
okay.
you watching these shows.
I see the striker resemblance. Or in general. Haha. Better question. Um, I'm a little flustered. But think about going away to college, right? Um, you are looking to find yourself, to figure out what path it is that you're supposed to forge, what you're doing. I am not surprised, especially with all the heaviness that Darren Ramey has had to face back at home. Oh, no worries, you all good, Razor Gang. We good. Cut it out, Razor. Um, but I'm not surprised that he came to Starfleet Academy and wanted to just have a fresh start, and just kind of figure out who he was. And so I don't think that took anything away from him. Again, I think it was right on brand. That is
Mhm.
what you're trying to do. You're going away, you're trying to figure out yourself, your specialization, all those things. And yes, I know I have a duty to my planet or my species, or however you want to conceptualize for this particular situation when it comes to him. I think it was on brand. I was not upset
Mhm.
with him.
Mhm. So Darren's uh, betrothed, the person he was betrothed to,
Yeah.
stated that basically he started their life together with a lie by choosing duty over his own happiness, duty to his Kionian roots. At what point does honoring tradition become a psychological prison?
The very beginning, when you set up to not have your own free will.
Mm,
It is a psychological prison from its genesis, from its onset, simply because you do not have a choice. You're catapulted into this from birth or even before birth.
mhm,
Everyone has decided for you what you will be before you even know who you are.
mhm,
And, I'm glad that he was able to have Starfleet and to go away to ultimately have those experiences, and a very understanding bad bitch of a fiance. That's the to be able to say, hey, look, I need you to go ahead and step down. Or I
mhm,
think the word she used was abdicate. Um,
mhm,
Go ahead and
mhm.
step down. I got this. She didn't even say, I'm gonna find another person to rule with. And I love how they slipped that in. Shout out to the writers for that. Like, no, I don't need someone to rule Kionia beside me. If it was supposed to be you, it doesn't have to be someone else. I can do it by myself. Thank you. Next. But not next. Just she, me, her, I. Got it. So I did appreciate that little Easter egg in there. Um, but yeah, I think it's he was damned from the beginning. And then
Mhm,
what I would have liked to see was his parents in this episode,
mm, mm,
because we're hearing all the things that they put on his back and kind of why he's wired the way that he is. We did not get that. We didn't get that in this episode. And so if it was a marriage ceremony taking place, why didn't we see his parents? At least a
mhm.
glimpse, a glimmer, something.
So I thought we were going to see his parents, and I wanted to see his parents for character development. But this is my next question. You mentioned his abdication. Was Darren's abdication an act of bravery or an abandonment of responsibility?
So I'm gonna lean again. I want to straddle the fence on this one, but I'm gonna lean more toward bravery, because Darren cares so much about people pleasing, more so his parents than anything. And for him to actually go along with it and do it, to me, was a very, very brave thing for him to do. Because I mean, he doesn't seem, or at least from what we've seen, whole, simply because he's always trying to please his parents and nothing is ever good enough. And this is the one thing that I could do that would certainly get in their good graces and have them be proud of me, and to be willing to give that up. I think that, yeah, I would lean more on the side of bravery for him, as opposed to abandoning his duties.
Okay. So Caleb calls Genesis' actions bullshit, realizing the fun was just a cover for an illicit hack. How does this betrayal of trust affect the group's psychological safety?
So, as opposed to the group's psychological safety, I can't really speak to, simply because we only saw it with Caleb and nobody else was really aware of what she did. So I'll speak to just Caleb's psychological safety. I think at this point you have potentially ruined any trust that he can have in anybody. He already has trust issues, right? And so I know I'm going off script and not answering the question you originally asked, but at any rate, I feel like you've ruined it. You have absolutely ruined it, because being able to take down those barriers of trust, or mistrust, or whatever he has in place, and just kind of be a kid in an instant, and for all intents and purposes. Sorry, I'm rambling. You've ruined that, because I was just having fun, just hanging out, and because of how I am and how I grew up, in the back of my mind, something was playing. Hey, I'm missing something. But no, I'm just going to go with the flow because this is a friend. I feel like she absolutely ruined it. Now I have to go back to having my walls up again and not trusting anyone or anything. And so, I feel like with Genesis, though, it's like your insecurity, you're not ready to be a leader. So I'm glad that things ultimately ended up the way that they did, because if you're going to allow your insecurities to put everybody in danger, you're not ready.
So speaking of that, can a team ever really truly recover when someone like Genesis uses social bonding as a tactical distraction to get what she wants?
I don't think that they can. There's always going to be it's going to be a perpetual side eye. Like, no, is this just another ploy so you can get close and I can let my guard down and you can weaponize our friendship in some type of way?
So is she leadership material?
No. Well, there's another side to that. I was about to say, friend material, trash. No, throw it away. Try again. Horrible friend. But leadership, you have to be able to make the tough calls and the tough decisions. And whereas I personally do not love that, and I would never do that to someone, when you are in leadership, you have to make very tough decisions. And so this is not just, dealing with humanity. You're dealing with different types of species, different galaxies and everything, whatever, or whatever science term you want to use to attach to it. You have to be playing chess, like you mentioned in the previous episode, as opposed to checkers. And so that kind of mental ping pong that she's able to do, or whatever,
it's very evident.
Right. So perhaps that does make her well suited for leadership eventually.
Okay. So Chancellor Ake notes Genesis' cool head under enemy fire. Yet Genesis is spiraling in the aftermath.
She might be
Is the Academy's push for a rigorous pre-command track helping these cadets heal, or is it forcing them to suppress PTSD in exchange for rank?
I'm going to go with the latter. Because in order to truly heal from something like that turnaround time, oh no, there's nowhere nearly enough. some of us are still healing with trauma from 3 years old, and we're 40, 50, 60 years old, still trying to figure it out. Okay? There's that.
Touche.
Versus versus, hey, let's go ahead and put a pin in this. Here's something that I'm gonna give you to work towards as a distraction to just kind of keep you going and band-aid it and just swallow the glass. Yes, it's gonna cut, it's gonna be painful, but here's what you get on the other side of that. Something shiny to look to focus on. There you go. And so yeah, I don't think they're truly healing at all.
Okay. So earlier we were talking about noose. All right. So I want to talk about noose. So Chancellor Ake refers to Noose as a sociopath who shouldn't be handed personal information. So we talked about that. I believe that was last episode, right? So Caleb's intense reaction to his mother's disappearance and perceived threats suggest a strange dynamic between him and Chancellor Ake. How does this lack of a secure base drive his desperate need to succeed at the academy?
You said a lack of a secure base, meaning Starfleet Academy?
Meaning his mom not being present, not really knowing if Chancellor Ake is really truly looking for his mom.
So I think it drives him simply because he's already kind of, I guess, through his own experiences and just natural aptitude for certain things, he has some things already. But the academy is giving him a formal training, if you will, to acquire more information. So if it comes down to it, and I see that you aren't really doing what it is that you said that you're doing, I can 100% go on a solo mission and do it myself. And so I feel like
after the training from
yes,
Starfleet.
Yes. The training, the access, these things, because if what I've noticed is across all of these episodes, when it has anything to do with these programs, with the computers, anything with breaking code and anything like that, Mir is cracking them. He's cracking them faster than literally anyone. So even down to the from the previous episode with the Miyazaki, that none of the other cadets before him in the other classes were able to do. He was able to do it in literally in like minutes. And so I think this is like, I feel like he's building up his arsenal, if I'm going to keep it concise, because I can just ramble on and on and on. I feel like he's building up his arsenal. So just in case things go left and I ultimately see that you're not looking for my mother, I will have everything that I need to do it myself.
All right. Mayfair to 10. Rank this episode.
Mayfair to 10. This episode will probably land around an 8 for me. It was a really, really good episode. I enjoyed it. I mentioned this to you off camera. Jaden. Okay, he was the cosign. Okay, I'm gonna go here. It was the cosign for Darren Ramey. And again, I love any opportunity that they take to put Jaden in front of the camera. Huge fan of my Hase Klingon friend. But what I noticed in the wardrobe was that they started putting them in skirts. I saw a shawl. And so I had more questions than anything, like why? Why did we go that direction? And so I even went as far, with the lack of time that I have, episode 1 to episode 6, all the previous episodes, to see if he was in skirts and more what we would traditionally call female type attire. Unless she's Scottish, because and wearing a kilt, or some type of caftan, just to see if it was done before. So I'm really wondering why that decision. Why? And I'm progressive. I don't. I'm just curious. Why did we do that?
So Star Trek made a when I'm saying Star Trek, I'm talking about the people who produced Star Trek. They made a bold decision. They wanted to have a gay Klingon, and so they weren't really trying to hide the fact that he was going to be a gay Klingon
You can be gay and
and
not
not wear.
wear a skirt or a shawl that is embellished. And
they want
so, have
they
we?
wanted him to be represented in that way.
Okay, I was about to say, have we gone backwards and assumed that gay is synonymous with feminine? Because that is not one and the same.
Then no,
No.
they're not. But
And so,
I think they just wanted his character to be represented in that way because all Klingons. Yeah, I can't think of a single Klingon, even female Klingons, had some type of gruffness to them. You know what I'm saying? And so they wanted someone who would depart from that.
okay, because I wasn't upset, but I was confused, and I needed it to make sense for me. And I'm like, wait a minute, here we are, we're later in the season, and now we wearing skirts and shit. I don't get it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And again, progressive. Got a whole fiance, got things going on over here, okay? But why did we do that? I don't. Okay, so we're already deviating from all the Klingon stereotypes. Now we got to have on a skirt, and I don't know. I don't know. I was just confused by it. Like I said, I needed explanations. I wanted to understand it.
No, even the actor who plays him was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And that particular actor is an out and proud gay person.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think they are doing it in a way where it. I mean, he wasn't wearing a long flowing gown or anything. And we have seen in Star Trek in the past, we've seen male characters wear, for lack of a better word, because I don't know female clothing like that, skirts, right? Even in the original series, we saw that. So it wasn't a shock / surprise. I think for me, like when I saw it, I was just like, "Oh, you're gonna make the gay boy do it." That's what that's what I was thinking.
I guess for me and how I'm wired, I would have been more receptive if it would have come a little bit sooner versus we're almost wrapping up. You know what I'm saying? To do that and and to make it so obvious. I don't know.
Mhm.
I was like I said, I was just confused by it, and I don't know yet if I feel like it was in poor taste for them to do that. I don't know how I'm still
I
processing it
think
for myself.
I think the producers of Star Trek were like, "Look, we know we want this for this particular character. We know he's gonna get backlash. Let's not throw it in everyone's faces on the first episode and then have people not watch us.
Mhm.
Let's let them get used to this particular character. And when he does wear it, it won't be a shock."
That's fair. That is a fair explanation. I accept that from you.
You still don't like it.
I
You
don't
understand the logic, you just don't
I don't
like
I
it.
don't love it. I don't love it. I'm okay, I'm okay. It's just like why now? But like I said, I accept your theory for why they did it that way. I accept that. That's fair. That is
Got
fair.
it. Got it. Um, my ranking for this particular episode was a 7.
Okay.
It was a 7. Um, how do I say this? Um, okay, so if, for instance, Darum and Jaden discovered, we like each other,
Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you.
that would have tipped it up a little bit.
That's
But
it.
they kind of like they're making us like wonder what's the what. And then also I'm gonna I don't know Jaden's boyfriend's name, and I'm calling him boyfriend, might not even be his
Caleb.
boyfriend.
Caleb.
Okay, Caleb. I
Oh,
was about to
Kyle.
call him Kyle.
Kyle. Kyle.
Okay, okay. Um, like, what's the deal with them? What's going on with them? Have they even figured out what's going on with each other? And then boom, now you got Darren. So it's like, are we about to see a polyamorous type thing? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
You see that Darren has consistently not been with Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Even after everything they went through with the Kyonians, and in essence, him, Jaden being your cosign and all this stuff and willing to ride with you as a friend, even after all of that, when you get your ass back there to Starfleet and that boy Boo come over there, you act simple. You act simple, you act petty, you act like a side bitch, is what you do. You try to make your position known by just being unnecessarily mean. And so there's some homoerotic tension between Jaden and Darren, and that's why I text you before we recorded. I'm like, hey, is it me? Or is the girls trying to play?
No, it's not just other people are talking about it on the internet as well.
Okay. All right. So I'm not out face because I'm like, y'all keeping it friendly-esque.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I know Corey is not watching these episodes, because Corey would have been all for it, and he ain't here, so he ain't watching. So when he sent that message, yeah, I'm talking about him. When he sent that message talking about he wasn't gonna make it, I just kept doing my work.
You need to watch. Listen.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
I think we pretty much covered everything. I did enjoy this episode as well. Yeah, I'm excited as a neophyte Trekkie. This is a really good episode for me as well.
Okay. Well, thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media. Until the next time, live long and prosper, my loves.